Welcome to the Marriage Foundation's YouTube channel. I hope that you're already a subscriber. If not, now's a good time to do it, but you'll want to later anyway. My name is Paul Friedman. I founded the Marriage Foundation, so a special welcome to you if you're here for the first time. This is where people are learning about marriage the correct way. I hate to say it, because it almost sounds like I'm negative towards the entire Western psychological, how shall I call it, industry. But I'm not. I love Western psychologists, not because of what they teach, because frankly they don't understand, but because of who they are. They're good people and they do want to help you. They don't know how. Remember, it started at a time, Western psychology started at a time when we weren't able to recognize things like sound waves or how electricity worked. And we've come so far. And one of the areas where we've come really far, and this is important, is we've come far in understanding that just because one is spiritual doesn't mean they're religious or they are trying to push a religion down your throat. And the truth of the matter is that marriage is very spiritual. It doesn't mean it's all about God. It means that it's all about love. It's all about love and happiness. Those are spiritual things that we seek. Have you ever considered that? They're spiritual. Love is not material. You see, things are either material or they're spiritual. The things you can't touch, but you can feel love. You know love is real, yet in the Western psychological way of dealing with things, they call love an abstract thought. That's what they call God, an abstract thought, or an emotion. Well, it's not an emotion. You see, they don't understand the mind. They're going off of the things they learned about the mind that are just basically incorrect, because the father of Western psychology, Freud, was an atheist. So he didn't want to include that you're a soul. He didn't want to say that, much less that you have a soul. But even that's incorrect. You don't have a soul. You are a soul. And when you get married, it's one soul marrying another soul. We're soulmates when we get married. And so what I like to do, rather than work on problems, because I did work on problems. I used to be a divorce mediator before I got into this. That's over 22 years ago. I don't want to work on problems. I want to show you the way to have the kind of marriage you're intended to have. I do believe, this is a belief, that God created marriage for us. It's not, and a lot of people go, yeah, he created it for us so we could learn. Yes, we do have to learn how to master our minds, how to not get emotional, how to eliminate anger, how to see things in a different way. It's a growth path, you might say, marriage is, but the most of it is because God wants us to be happy. I believe that, don't you? That God wants you to be happy. I mean, he doesn't have a magic wand. He just has to have a thought and it's happening. So it's set up. It's a setup for happiness. That's what I discovered. So at the Marriage Foundation, if you come to us and you take our course, in your case, a course for women, or you read one of my books, or you just watch these videos, it's all geared towards experiencing the deepest joy, happiness, and love. That's why you get married, for love. So this particular question that you were seeking an answer to, this question is, I can't understand, why does my husband always pick fights with me? And this is a simple psychological question, actually, if you think about it. But you don't just want that answer. You don't. What are you going to do with it? What you really want to do is you don't want him to pick fights with you. What you're looking for is a way to create your marriage in a way, recreate, I guess, your marriage in a way where fighting is done. You don't have any fights. We say never, ever fight. And in the Western psychological world, and by the way, we are training, again, therapists and clergy to be marriage counselors the right way. So they even, because they don't understand, they say, oh, there's a proper way to fight. No, there isn't. Not in a marriage. Maybe there's a proper way to argue and fight if you're a lawyer. They have lots of rules. Or if you're a soldier and you're in a battle, there's rules of engagement. But the rules of engagement for marriage are love. All about love. All about happiness. Not about redefining how to argue. So let's talk about this. Basically what you're saying is your husband is picking fights with you. Well, why do people do that? Anybody, not just your husband. Well, they're obviously not floating in happiness and joy and love, or they wouldn't care about things that are happening. So what is missing? It's a what's missing in my marriage question. What's missing in my marriage that my husband is picking fights? Let's reframe it. What's missing in your marriage is this intoxicating love and connection. Isn't it true? You know for yourself when you're feeling happiness, you're not going to pick a fight. You're going to avoid fights. So what to do? Some people may say, well, I don't want to just have love and happiness in my marriage. I just want him to stop picking fights with me. Nonsense. Nonsense. If that's where you're at, then you're missing the whole point of marriage. Don't be satisfied with a mundane marriage where no one's fighting. Go for marriage as it's meant to be. That's the message here. Start changing your marriage. Start redefining your interactions with one another. You start behaving towards your husband as if he's the most amazing man you've ever met, your soulmate, because that's why you got married to him, but you have stopped treating him that way. Is it your fault that he picks fights with you? It's both of your fault. But you didn't know. You didn't know that when you were getting married, you had this golden opportunity. Now you know. So watch these videos. You'll learn so much. If you still have a need, get one of my books. If your marriage is really in trouble, get the course for women. But don't settle. Don't just learn how to stop your husband from picking fights. It's not enough. It's like getting a great car, but not knowing how to drive it. And so you get in the car and you don't know how to turn on the windshield wipers. So someone shows you, but you don't know how to do this, you don't know how to do that. So you're frustrated with your car because you never learned how to drive it. I'm telling you, it's the same. Marriage has a mechanical component. Everything in creation has a mechanical component, and so does marriage. You need to learn it. Now is as good a time as any. So subscribe to this channel so you'll be sure to hear these videos, and also like this video and leave a positive comment, and be sure to visit again. We're here for you at the Marriage Foundation. And by the way, go to our website, see what our offerings are. Because if you have a specific question, you could ask a counselor. It's a free service. You could say, here's what's happening in my marriage. What can I do? You'll probably be told to get the course for women, or maybe just the book, or maybe just watch the videos. You know, a lot of our offerings are free. And then all the rest are affordable. So we're on your side. God bless you. Thank you for visiting, and I hope to see you again soon. Take care.